The anime ended with Cyrus and Marie living happily ever after, right? Well, that's not exactly what happens, because the story continues in the light novels and the manga.
私たちは幸せになる。
If we get a season 2, we will see that they did get engaged, but their official wedding certificate never gets issued. But still, we see them adopting a cat, reading together, and being their usual wholesome selves. Also, we'll learn a lot about the third prince, Luifon, and his family, as this arc is basically about them. Not gonna lie, the anime was pretty good, even though there were some things I didn't quite like the green halo on Mary's hair and some of the drama that could have been avoided. But the story was kind of unpredictable, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. As I said, it's not the end of the story, but the bad part is that the novels and the latest chapter of the manga aren't officially translated into English yet. That's why I had to use my broken Japanese to understand what's going on and figure out what happens next. So after the ceremony, Cyrus and Marie are a happy engaged couple. They are enjoying their lives while keeping their distance. But their joy is short-lived, as the final step to their marriage, the official wedding certification from the church and the royal family, is mysteriously delayed. Weeks pass and the document never arrives. Cyrus and Marie both are worried because they need that official testimony to start their future together. By the way, we're talking about the same royal family that Luifon belongs to, and since he's the third prince, we're introduced to his two older brothers and his younger sister. The eldest one is the Crown Prince Lionel. He's brilliant but cold and calculating, a master of everything he attempts. Cyrus even says that Lionel might be the only man in the country who could surpass him. He's the evil one and his face is made of stone. I currently hate him. Richard or Ricki is the second prince. He's loud, very loud, but also an anxious and timid man with an extreme fear of women. The third prince, Luifon, who we already met, is the complete opposite. He's charming, kind, and a knight. I love his character and his relationship with Anastasia. Though as the story is moving ahead, I'm hoping that he doesn't do anything that would make me dislike him. Then we have Princess Raymia, the youngest one. She throws a lot of tantrums and is pretty stubborn. She met Cyrus once 8 years ago and is somehow convinced that she's in love with him. Anyways, Mia, seeing her master's frustration, takes matters into her own hands. She goes to the largest church in the kingdom and confronts the priest. The priest, who has known Cyrus since he was a child, is terrified but tries to hide behind the church rules. But of course, Mia is too smart for that. She reminds him of a debt he owes Cyrus, a large sum of money Cyrus paid to fix a statue the priest had drunkenly broken years ago. Under the pressure, the priest breaks down and confesses everything. He reveals a deep-seated hatred for the royal family, especially the Crown Prince Lionel. He curses him and says that he is a work of the devil without blood or tears, who is trying to take the power away from the church to make people trust only the royal family. He's also furious that Lionel would dare interfere with Cyrus's marriage. In short, Mio finds out that the royal family is behind the problem, but she thinks that she's still missing a key piece of the puzzle, because why would they want to stop this marriage specifically? Anyways, I wanted to curse Lionel more than the priest because not only is he evil, he also slaps Luifon. Here's what happened. The youngest sister, Raymia, is at her 16th birthday party, but comes screaming and running toward Luifon. The men at the party are acting as her suitors, and she has no interest in them. She lashes out at her brother, saying that he should have protected her. Then she went on and says that she wants to marry Cyrus, and argues that Cyrus isn't actually married yet. And since Luifon has broken so many engagements before, it's not a big deal. She also insists that Cyrus would rather marry a princess like her than a simple baron's daughter.
一目見て言葉が出なかった。綺麗だ。
Luifon is unable to reason with her, and suddenly Lionel, the evil brother, arrives. He simply questions why Luifon hasn't carried out his orders. And you know what his order was? For 5 years, Luifon has been ordered to keep Cyrus away from any potential love interests. Now specifically, he was ordered to break Cyrus's engagement with Marie. Lionel reveals that he had Luifon monitoring Mary's family, waiting for any scandal that will let them destroy the family and stop the marriage. When Luifon admits that he found nothing wrong with them, Lionel gets furious. He slaps Luifon across the face, causing him to fall and cut his lip. Now, I personally don't think Cyrus knows about this, and even if he did, he wouldn't ask Luifon about it, since he trusts him and he's an amazing person. The scene that broke my heart though was the one where Luifon lets a married woman with a kid use him in the name of politics. And the worst part is that it looks like she visits him often, enough that she can even enter his safe place, his room, and he can't even say no to her. Opposite to all this toxic relationship are the beautiful scenes of him with Anastasia, where he comes to her workshop every now and then to find peace from the chaos of the palace. He's playful and flirtatious with her, but he also respects her privacy and actually cares about her. And almost all the time, she says she doesn't want him there, but she obviously enjoys his company. Most of their interactions are either filled with teasing or simple everyday details. They drink coffee and eat sandwiches, focusing on ordinary things like food, weather, and work. Here, he doesn't have to pretend. These simple, honest conversations seems to be what he longs for, a break from the deception and manipulation he faces constantly. And one day, he visits her workshop and she shows him a delicate feather-shaped brooch that she made. She's covered in sweat and wood shavings, so much different from the fake, elegant woman of the royal court. He finds her beautiful though, and when she shows him the finished product, he has to get very close to see the details. So she asks if his eyesight is bad. Luifon, for the first time, admits that he's nearsighted. On that, Anastasia, who loves to tease him, doesn't. So he admits that he fears being laughed at, and he's also told that classes doesn't suit him. To that, her response is that there's nothing good or bad about work tools. She then laughs, telling him that he is foolish to care more about his appearance than his ability to work. It was honestly so heartwarming to read scenes of these two, and to know that they will get married someday. Now to the latest chapters in the manga, which covers the part where Raymia decides to take matters into her own hands and drags Richard with her to Granado Castle. Her plan was simple. She will go to the castle disguised as a maid named Layla and have Richard pretend to be the servant. She thinks that because Cyrus's fiancée is a poor baron's daughter, she must be unrefined and easy to expose. That, of course, doesn't happen. When Raymia and Richard arrives, they are shocked, as instead of a fancy noblewoman, they see a woman in dirty clothes with messy red hairs and freckles, holding a potato and a cat. She's friendly with all the staff, speaks about the castle with great knowledge, and talks about helping her own family. After their short encounter, Mary leaves to change and returns in a stunning knight-like uniform. Raymia is speechless, thinking that she can't describe Mary as either a beautiful woman or a handsome young man, but simply as a beautiful person. Maybe that's why even Richard wasn't scared of her. In fact, he gets along with her pretty well. That's why Raymia came to this huge realization that Mary's true beauty comes from her kindness, intelligence, and genuine nature. In short, Raymia came to conquer Cyrus's heart, but ends up losing hers to Mary instead. And just as they are leaving, Cyrus returned and immediately recognized them despite Ramia's disguise. Mary then reveals that she knew who they were the entire time, as she saw the royal carriage, but she just played along, thinking that they were just eccentric like Luifon. Cyrus is polite but very firm. He takes off Mary's hat and hairpin, letting her long hair fall free. Then he kisses her passionately. The message is clear. Mary is his and no one should try to take her. The last part of the story isn't in the manga yet, so I read it from the light novel. The story is kind of the same in both, except the sequence of the scenes are a little different. Also, if you know Japanese and have read the novels, please tell me if I got anything wrong. The story obviously continues, but that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
Well then baby, I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change.